Good evening, everybody. Thanks again for joining me here on another Monday night for yet another episode of Make It With Me Monday. Hope that you all had a great weekend. We got a little bit of warmer weather hitting through, so that was a little bit nice for a change. Hit a little bit of sunshine, which is much welcome here in Wisconsin in the middle of February. All right, I'm going to start out tonight while everybody's signing in to show you what sets I'm using and my samples on screen. We have a set out there, a collection right now called Here Together. There's a stamp set, there's a set of dies, and if you can see, there's the heart die cut, the two linking pinkies, try to say that one 5 times fast, and the two hearts, or two hands that come together to make the heart. You can die cut all those pieces, and then the phrases say here for you or you matter, to go along with the phrases from in here. And there's a really cool set of designer series paper that's all 6x6. Hey Kathy Jo, good to see you tonight. All 6x6 and all in black and white designs. So this is super fun. Hi Jessie. Super fun patterns, all kinds of different ones. You've got actual shapes and leaves, and then other just random generated little tiny white hearts. That's one of my favorites. And then again, other side's going to be black and white as well. You get a lot of different geometric patterns going on in here. So this is great for monochromatic cards, and also then go ahead and take your markers to them and color them up. This one reminds me of a little bit of a rainbow effect. You could get some really great color. Hi Karen, hope you're doing well down there in Florida. Send us some sunshine again, okay? Hey Tina, good to see you on tonight. So right now that is available as a special promotion only. You won't find it in a catalog yet. The die set is only available for this limited time while supplies last, but the stamp set and the DSP should be carrying over into our next catalog. So if you're interested in that, I'll have all the details. Hi Aunt Mary, good to see you tonight. I'll have all the details up on the page after I load the presentations and stuff. You'll be able to see all of those. Thanks Karen, that'll work. Little sunshine emojis, gotta love it. All right, so let's go over what you need for tonight. You're going to need cardstock that's 5.5 by 8.5 and score at 4 1/4. I'm going to be using real red. And in that same color, you want a piece that's 2 1/4 by 4. Then you want a piece of neutral that's 3 3/4 by 5. And another piece of neutral that's 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. And then you wanted a circle of designer series paper that's about 2 3/4 in diameter. I'm using, again, one of those pieces from the excuse me, the Here Together designer series paper. I like this little bubbled heart one. So that's what I'm going to be using in there tonight. All right. The only stamping we're going to need to do is on this little neutral piece that's 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. So go ahead and grab whatever you brought along to do that. You're going to want maybe a combination of images and phrases, depending on what you have there, that's going to be able to fill up that space for you. All right, so I'm going to use, here we go, the phrase from that set that says, every act of kindness changes the world. And I'm just going to put that right in the middle, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab that little heart image, and I'm going to add one near the bottom, but I'm going to stamp it off first so that it doesn't appear quite as dark. Okay, so there's my little heart. All right, and like I said, that is all the stamping that you need to do. So while you guys are getting that ready, I will show you how we're going to put this together. All right, so you're going to take your card base and, per usual, give that a nice burnish with your bone folder so that you get a nice good crease. Okay, you're going to take your neutral piece. Now I'll show you some other versions a little bit stepped up where if this is just too neutral for you, feel free to add some embossing or some stamped images or something to it. It's just going to be a layer on here for now. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there. Whoop. There we go. My tape runner didn't want to work at first. All right, so let's go ahead and put that basically so that you have a border going all the way around, okay? And then here's some parts where you can decide what you want to put on flat and what you might want to put on dimensionals. I'll show you where all the layers are going to go. So this one's just going to go a little bit cockeyed, like so. Then you're going to go ahead and put your circle on there, and you can follow this cockeyed angle if you want with all your patterns. Depends on if you have a directional piece or not. Otherwise, you can always leave it up this direction. And then your square is again going to go over here, and you can still, like, see, you can follow the direction of the angle, or you can kind of go against it. So that's going to be kind of your cook's choice tonight. And amongst any of these, you decide what you want to pop up and what you might not. So you could do all of that and have a lot of dimension, or you can just do some of that, stuff like that. So I'm going to show you how it would look if I popped up everything. So I'm going to take a couple dimensionals to the back of my red rectangle. All right. There's always the most boring part, watching me peel off dimensional backings. Do you guys find those around everywhere else in your house after you use them for a while? I find that they stick to my socks that I wear. I have fuzzy socks because my studio tends to be cold. The floor of the studio tends to be cold. So I wear fuzzy socks, and then I end up bringing all these little bits, if they've fallen on the floor, they attach themselves to my socks, and then they end up all over the house. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple dimensionals again on the back of my circle, and then we're going to pop that up. I'm going to follow the grain, as I mentioned, follow the grain of that angle, and then I'll go ahead and pop up that last little bit with a couple dimensionals again. Okay, so like I said, this is if you popped up everything. You can also, yes, Tina, the cats come up with them too. You're right. It probably would be worse if we still use that red liner tape. Do you remember peeling that off and having that just like stick to everything? That stuff was so staticky. Tear tape is definitely leaps and bounds improvement over there. Yep, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Jesse. They just stick to everything. All right, so that is it. This is your base card for this evening. So like I said, if this the background here is just a little too plain for you or whatever, go ahead and dress that up with more stamping or some embossing or something like that. I'll show you a couple samples I have where I've done just that. Okay, so here's the stepped up version. And I'll bring it up a little bit more. So I added the bark embossing folder to this white layer, and I used the Dottie Hearts embossing folder on my red. I don't know if it's showing up here, but you'll definitely see it in the still photo. And then I took my red marker and I colored in just a few of these little hearts to add a little bit more color to that layer. And as you can see, I did a couple more hearts, but in a different color, and I backed it with a piece of black just to make that pop off there a little bit more. And this little ribbon here comes from the Playful Pets trim. You get this tiny little red and white stitch ribbon along with a spool of black and white twine, baker's twine. So it's a cute little set, and this just, the black, white, red, very classic themed. You might have even had some of it going already when we had Valentine's last week, so that tend to pop up a lot there. All right, so for the next samples, what I did is I took one of my favorite designer series papers, which is the hand penned. I absolutely love the way this was done, and I think I shared a video a while back. There's an artist that's Stampin' Up! Actually like paint these patterns and images and all that kind of stuff, and then they make the paper out of that painted image. I mean, there's just the depth of artistry that we've got going on is just lovely, lovely, lovely. So lots of great watercolored images, and then the back sides have a solid pattern that has sort of a little ombre effect to it too. So if you pull out the whole sheet, you'll see there's a little bit of ombre happening. So there's the lavender, you've got some yellows, I think papaya is in there. Really, really pretty patterns. And again, that is hand-penned designer series paper from the annual catalog. So I took 4 of those circles, four of those patterns, and I cut my circles. And then I made a really quick note card set with all the same color and just a couple different pieces of my designer series paper. So I added, as part of the color and contour set, I have the phrase and I have the little dotted pattern. Oh, I used the thank you, sorry. And the little splotchy pattern, whatever we want to call it, little splotches. And so I added those to my background layer just again to break up some of the starkness of it. I also added them lighter behind my phrase. And I used our little hexagons. And that color is actually just jade, but I think it fits in color-wise. I think it made its way into this palette really, really well. So the hexagons come in 3 colors. You get them in black, and it's either peach or papaya, and the jade color. And that's going to be in the mini catalog, the current one on page 49. So they're kind of like a fun, different kind of embellishment to use, just because the shape's a little bit different. We're used to pearls and rhinestones, so lots of circular stuff. So these little hexagons are kind of fun to use. So there again, like I said, I just changed up the circle that I cut and used the same mint macron and white for everything else. All right, so there's my quick set of note cards. I'm going to go ahead and wrap those up with some envelopes and give those away as a gift. All right, there's my on-screen samples, and I'll show you where the inspiration came from. I got a swap from my good demonstrator friend, Amy Rich, and this is using, excuse me, a collection in the mini catalog, and it's all sports themed. So her die cut shape was supposed to look, it looks like a ticket, like a punch ticket that you would have. And this shape came from there as well. There's these resin stars and a little bit of twine in the background of that, as opposed to, you can see here I added just a little bow. So you can feel free and dress up all kinds of parts of this with whatever you happen to have around. So look through your embellishments, look through your ribbons, that kind of thing, and go ahead and just bling it up however you like. So I know this was pretty quick tonight. There wasn't much stamping involved because, like I said, we're only going to do that one little piece. So this is a nice quick layout. Again, with the layers and then whatever designer series paper you think you want to be using. Oh, I guess I'm covering up all my words here. There we go. I didn't get a chance to tape them down yet. There we go. So there you go. That is it for tonight. So please share what you made. Once I get this posted, you can feel free to add yours in the comments. I want to see what you were using, how you interpreted this layout. I think it would also work, you know, if you want to flip directional. I do that every once in a while, flip it horizontal as opposed to vertical. All kinds of ways you can personalize this and make it your own. All right, well, everybody have a great Monday night, and I will see you again next week. Take care.